Here's another episode of Ask the Lawyer. This time the question is, do you know what to do if you're involved in a collision with a truck? I'm Rob Rosenthal with AskTheLawyers.com. Here to answer our questions is attorney Brian Davis of the Davis Law Group in Asheville, North Carolina. Brian, thank you for making some time for us today.
Glad to be here. Thank you.
So, say we're in an accident, we're in a crash with a truck. Probably not the first thing you're thinking about is calling an attorney. Tell me why that's something that is important to do.
Well, the thing you have to remember is the truck company instructs their driver and actually trains him. As soon as there's a truck crash, the first phone call he's supposed to make is to the dispatcher at the truck company. And then the dispatcher in turn contacts the insurance carrier. And the insurance company dispatches their rapid response team. They actually have a team made up of 3 or 4 people. They have an investigator, they have an accident reconstructionist, they have an adjuster, probably a photographer, and they dispatch these folks as soon as they're notified of a crash. And they often get to the scene of the crash before they've even gotten all the vehicles off the road. They are deployed quickly, and they have one goal, and that's to gather evidence to start building a defense. So if the injured person doesn't have someone on their side who can sort of do the same thing, dispatch a team of professionals who can go and gather evidence and document what needs to be documented, then they're starting out sort of behind the 8 ball.
And I would imagine this advice is not only good for the person who's in the accident, but if they're injured to the point where they can't contact an attorney, this is good to know for loved ones, friends, that sort of thing, who may go, I need to contact an attorney on their behalf.
Yeah, it is important. And a lot of times we are contacted by family members, good friends, whoever is there to help. They often reach out to us and engage us even before the person's able to do anything on their own.
So when it comes to determining responsibility, who's at fault in a crash, is it always the truck driver? There could be other things, and that must be difficult to figure out where the fault lies.
Sometimes it is. A lot of times obviously we focus on the truck driver initially because he's the one driving the truck. He's responsible for its operation. But we really try to get sort of to the real bottom of what actually caused the crash, what we call the root cause. And that usually takes us to the truck company, because truck companies who hire drivers to drive these big rigs, these tractor trailers, they have a duty to make sure the truck driver has both the knowledge and the skill to safely operate the truck. And a lot of times, corporations get distracted. They get focused on making money and not being safe. And when that happens, that's when crashes occur.
What if a driver, Brian, thinks, well, I might be partially at fault for this accident, especially pertaining to North Carolina? What are the rules as far as partial fault?
Well, those rules are really harsh in North Carolina. We're what's called a pure contributory negligence state. And what that means is when someone gets hurt in a crash with a big truck like this, they have a claim for negligence against the truck driver. In other words, the truck driver wasn't acting reasonably under the circumstances, and that's what led to the crash.
Right.
But in North Carolina, if the injured person is found to be even 0.1% at fault, they can't make a recovery. And that's why it's so super important. And most people don't get this, but if you make a recorded statement to an insurance adjuster or a truck company, they're probably going to use your words against you later. Right out of the gate, they're going to act like your new best friend. But the reality is they're building a defense, and you really should not talk to them. You shouldn't, under any circumstances, give a recorded statement.
So that's why it's even more important in North Carolina to get an attorney on your side working for you before you may do something, say something that could hurt your case.
Yeah, it is really important to get an attorney early, especially in truck cases, because if someone gives a recorded statement and then they go and hire a lawyer, the damage may already be done. And once it's done, there's really not a lot that we can do to undo it.
What if someone isn't sure whether or not they really do have a case or not? And then beyond that, what if they say, I can't afford an attorney. I can't afford to hire a very qualified attorney like yourself to help me. What do you say to that?
Well, there's really no excuse. for not contacting a lawyer. We here at Davis Law Group, we handle these cases on a percentage of the total recovery. It's called a contingency. Our fee in the case is contingent on us making a recovery for the client. If we don't make a recovery, there's absolutely no fee. So the client has really every incentive to contact an attorney early. There's absolutely no financial obligation.
Brian, it's a lot of good information. I appreciate you spending some time with us today.
Well, I'm glad to. It's nice to talk with you, and I hope this helps somebody out there.
Absolutely. That's going to do it for this episode of Ask the Lawyer. My guest has been attorney Brian Davis of the Davis Law Group in Asheville, North Carolina. If you want the best information about truck accidents, or you're ready to choose a lawyer that lawyers choose, make sure to visit askthelawyer.com. Also, please take a second to like, share, and subscribe to our YouTube channel by clicking the button at the bottom of the screen. Thanks for watching. I'm Rob Rosenthal with AskTheLawyers.com.